Hello, Mrs. Wriggles class. Welcome to your Art e-learning day assignment. You are going to be watching this video and we're going to be doing some art together, just like we would be if we were at school. You're going to be working on a very important piece of your winter street banner contest. I'm going to show you how to draw and cut out a tree silhouette, and this is going to be glued on top of our mosaic when you bring it back to school. So yes, you have to bring it back to school. To do this, you're going to need the things that I sent home for you. You will have a practice piece of paper that's this tan color. You also will have the same size paper in black. This one's for practice. Don't work on this black one until you are ready because you only get one. Also, you will need to use a pencil. Any kind of pencil you have at home is fine. And later, a pair of scissors. Again, any kind of scissors that you have at home is fine. So keep watching and let's get busy. First of all, let's take a look at this tree picture. I want you to see this because there will be a couple of things that you need to keep in mind when we start our drawing. First of all, I want you to notice that all of the branches on this tree grow upwards. Sometimes they slant, but they are going upwards towards the sky. When we do our drawing, all of our branches need to be going towards the top of our paper. Another thing I want you to notice is how a tree is actually made. When a branch is growing from this other branch, where it attaches is thick, and then as it grows upwards, it gets skinnier. That's very important. Here's another part. Thicker here where it is attached, thinner as it grows upwards. This is important because if you draw a branch and it's skinny where it attaches and then it grows thicker, it's going to look very strange because that is not how trees are made. So keep these things in mind as we get started on our drawing. Hey, before you get started, I'm going to show you how to draw this tree. And you can draw with me on the video. Remember, you have a pause button. You can pause and stop if I go too fast. Or you could watch the whole video first and then go back and play it again and draw with me the second time. That way you know what's coming and you're less likely to get frustrated and make mistakes. It's up to you. Every artist has their own way of doing things. Here's a preview of what we're going to be doing on our practice paper and then what you will eventually be doing on your black paper. There's a couple of things. We're going to draw some ground. I'm going to show you how to draw the tree and all the branches, and then we're going to color it in, and I'm going to tell you why a little bit later. So get your practice paper ready and your pencil. Your paper needs to be vertical because trees are tall, and this is how it needs to fit on our project. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to add a line for the ground. This needs to be towards the bottom of your paper. It can be a little bit hilly or bumpy, or it can be straight across if that's what you prefer. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to draw two lines, and these two lines will look like a capital letter Y. Let me show you. Starting at the ground, right in the middle of our ground, I'm going to draw a line that goes straight up the middle, but then, remember, like a capital letter Y, it's going to come off to one side, pretty much all the way up to the top. Now, it's not a Y yet. Let's add our other side. I'm going down just a little bit. I'm going to draw this one towards this corner. It does not have to be the same height as the other one. It can be a little shorter if you want. So now I have the letter Y, kind of a sloppy looking letter Y, and that's good. Now, this is like the skeleton of our tree, and now we're going to flesh it out and make it actually more than just two lines. Starting up here on one side, remember the end of our branches are pointy, so I'm going to come down and I'm just going to follow my line all the way down to the ground. Notice it's a little thicker here and thinner at the top like an actual tree would be. And I'm going to repeat on the other side. Pointy at the top, go straight down to the ground. Now my tree has some thickness. It actually looks like it could actually become an actual tree. Now from this point, we're going to start adding some branches. And really, where you put the branches is up to you. You will notice you've got lots of space right now. How many branches is also up to you. But something that you need to make sure happens is that those branches point up and they are thicker where they attach, and they get skinnier as they grow upwards. Pointy on the end is a great idea. Now that branch is kind of curvy, and that's fine. You can make branches that aren't so curvy. If you like branches that are more straight, that's up to you. Thicker, skinnier, pointing up. And you're just going to find some places where you think branches need to be, and you're going to fill up some of that empty space. There, I think I have enough now. Now, let's check. Are my branches all generally pointing up towards the top? Yes, I have some slanted. I have some that are going straight up, some slanted. Those are fine. Let's check again. Do all of my branches start thicker where they attach to the tree and grow skinnier as they grow up? Yes, yes they do. So I think this is fine, and I'm ready for the final step on my practice sheet. And that's going to be, we're going to color in this tree. And we're not going to take a whole bunch of time and color super neat and tidy. The coloring is for actually to help us with our cutting step. Because with all of these lines that we have on here where we attached branches, it's going to make it confusing when we start to cut which lines we need to cut on and which lines we don't. So coloring in our tree, just kind of quickly. I'm not doing my very, very best coloring because it's just a tool. That's going to help me to know where I need to cut and where I should not cut. There, now I am all finished with my practice. If you feel like your tree did not turn out great and you need to practice again, then flip that paper over, rewind the video, and draw with me again. Now, when you feel confident that you know how to draw a tree and you've practiced it at least one time, we're ready to come and do the same thing on the black paper. So this time I'm just going to draw and keep drawing, and I'm not going to talk about each step, except just maybe to tell you what I'm doing, like the ground and my big funky capital Y. And now I'm putting some thickness onto my tree. And now some branches.
Remember, anytime you need to, you can press pause and catch up, or you can press rewind and watch some directions again. Do anything you need to do to make this the very best tree that you can make.
When you feel like your tree is complete, don't forget that coloring in step. This is really important on the black paper. Okay, now it's time for cutting.
Now your tree is all drawn, it is colored in, and it's time for us to cut this out. Now you know what I always say, I want you to cut carefully, go slow, stay on the line, and this time I'm going to say don't cut any branches off. All those branches need to still be there when you get the tree cut out. So keep watching, I'm going to give you some tips, and you'll finally understand why we had to color that tree in.
So here we go on our cutting step. Like with any cutting, I want you to go slow and stay on the line. You do need to cut out the ground. In fact, the reason we colored this in is because you are going to cut out the area that is colored in. So any colored area, you will cut on its line. If we weren't colored in, you can see how tempting it would be to cut on that line right there. Coloring in helps us to keep our mind on what we're doing. so that we can cut only the things that need to be cut. And here I am, back down to the ground, which is colored in, so I will cut it out. Now you may be thinking to yourself, well, that's weird because it's all colored in. But actually, this just became the back. There is our finished tree. Now you need to make sure you bring this back to school because we're going to glue this onto our mosaic project next time you come to art class.
So hopefully you were able to draw your tree, color it in, cut it out, and hopefully you have something that looks sort of like this now. You need to make sure that your name is on here, probably on the back, and you need to make sure that you bring this back to school. You do not need to bring your practice, you do not need to bring your scraps, you don't even need to bring the instruction sheet that was attached to your papers. You just need to make sure that this piece comes back to school. You can give it to your teacher and she will give it to me. You can bring it and put it in the art room on my desk, or you can turn it into the office and they'll put it in my mailbox. I don't care, but you got to bring it back. I hope you had a good time.